Good afternoon, everyone. I have chosen to research the narrative of Deborah Sampson. Herman Mann authored a book after the Revolutionary War entitled The Female Narrative, telling the story of a young girl who, at 18, decided to trade her skirts in for a uniform and fight for the Continental Army. She spent the next 18 months fighting as Robert Shirtliff in the Light Infantry Company of the 4th Massachusetts Regiment. In her first battle, she was shot with a musket, but managed to evade being found by treating her wounds herself and escaping back to West Point. After the war was over, Sampson was sent with part of a force to Philadelphia to quell a mutiny by the Continental troops that were mad about not being paid. There she contracted a fever, and a doctor named Barnabas Binney discovered she was a female. Instead of turning her in, he took her to his home and treated her there. The doctor assigned her to an armed guard that would accompany Colonel Benjamin Tupper on a geological survey of western Virginia. There she suffered a relapse of the fever, perhaps malaria, and was left to convalesce. After recovering, she set out to rejoin her group, but got lost. After 2 days of wandering in the woods, she stumbled across a hunting party of Detroit tribesmen who helped her. She made it back to Philadelphia and then to West Point. Binney had given her a letter to give to the commanding general in which he relayed that she was in fact a woman, but also commended her bravery and recommended she be treated as a heroine. The general followed the suggestion and did not charge her, yet discharged her and sent her home. In this narrative, Mann has created a persona designed to win audience approval by conforming to contemporary gender ideologies. His works, however inaccurate, have been the most cited sources of information about the life of Deborah Sampson. Mann relied heavily upon popular accounts of the Revolution and honorific treatments of the female warrior. His work set the stage for future challenges to the cultural norms of a woman. Ulrich had asked how important it was to have a famous female from the American Revolution. I would say it is not any more important than having a famous male. In the case of Deborah Sampson, a modern-day Mulan, it was more important to show that it was okay, even patriotic, for women to challenge the gender identity of the time. Ulrich had also asked if her as an icon is still important. Although Sampson is a lesser known than those of, say, Betsy Ross, her role in the changing of cultural norms of women in the military should be more recognized and should be a role model for women in the military today. Although there are now writings to refute the claims Mann made in his telling of Sampson, his story is still considered a primary source for historians. Perhaps it is because there are no first-person accounts of her feats left to cite. Perhaps it is because the people always love a heroine